opinions, and they may all have an experience. But if you want to develop accurate thinking, you go and make sure your source is legit. Same in business. A lot of times, if it's politics or something, guess who I call? I will call Chris Millis, who has spent 6 years in the House of Congress, that can tell me not everything, but he can help me navigate things, or people that you know that's in office. You cannot be successful when you have not validated your information of where it came from and is my source credible. It's kind of like people will want to talk to me about the Bible, or they want to talk to me about church. And I'm like, have you read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation? No. You can't talk to me. What are you going? What are you? I agree. Hallelujah. What can you possibly say or know when you have not read the Bible through? That is not saying that you're not a good person, that you don't love God. You are not credible enough to debate, and it is an opinion that you have. Does that make sense? So you have to, you like preachers on TV, you like this, you like that. I'm telling you, accurate thinking comes from knowing the source of where your information's coming from and how you assimilate this information. And we're living in an age where truth is absent. You're living in an age where people will embellish, they will lie, they will keep all the main facts out and just, yeah, I did that, but they don't tell you everything about it. And you truly take on information that is inaccurate. And you cannot be successful with inaccurate knowledge. And same with business. The same, I have 2 or 3 friends that are attorneys. When I need attorney issue, I don't go to Daniel and say, what do you think I should do? I call an attorney. Hello? It doesn't mean you don't talk to people. I listen to my wife. She gives me counsel. She asks me questions. I give her counsel. But there's things she needs to go higher than me, and I need to go higher than her, because it is an opinion. Your opinion is not truth. What does it take to have a successful business? Everybody will tell you what it takes. Okay? But it's important that you know. I was at the drive-thru yesterday, or the day before. I went through the drive-thru to get Diane and I dinner. And there was a couple of girls in there working, and that she was saying, I'm going to be rich. And she said, you believe in that? I said, believe in what? She said, by saying and speaking, I'm going to be rich. I said, absolutely, I believe in that. And I told her my story. She said, you wealthy, you rich. I said, no. I said, what do you want to do? She said, you know that old Kohl's? I want to get that. I want to make a club. Okay? Now, I'm okay with that if she wants to make a club. All I'm saying is, by repeating what she heard, if you say positive things, you get what you repeat. That's not what this is about. It is a lot of things. What does it take to have a business? It takes a plan, a definite chief aim. It takes vision. It takes learning. It takes adaptability. It takes a lot, customer, it just depends. It takes a lot of stuff. This is why so many businesses fail, is because they don't have accurate thought on what it takes. They think that, they cook something and everybody in their family likes it. Well, just because everybody in your family likes it doesn't mean you're a good cook. Okay. Now, right, if you don't have this down, I'm going to give this to you. Your life, the reason I ask you, what does it take? I ask you, what does it take? What does it require to have a successful business? And I just gave you a few: a plan, a vision, adaptability. You got to learn. So here's what I want to tell you. Your life is a business. Hello? Your life is a business. So if you don't have a plan for your life, you don't have a vision for your life, you're not learning how to have, your life is a business. You're talking about going all in. Everything revolves around my definite chief aim. If I don't do this, I will be an ultimate failure. You have to be sold out to this. It's the same that people get saved and they're not sold out to their faith. And the faith don't work. No, you didn't work your faith. What your life is your business, and your habits is your business. Y'all get that? It's a play on words. Your life is your business, and your habits is your business. So do you have good business habits? Everybody knows what customer service is, right? That all deals around a pleasing personality. That all deals around self-confidence. That all deals around imagination. That all deals around all these things. So do you have a pleasing personality? If you don't, your customer service is going to be bad. Your life doesn't have good customer service. I'm breaking this down to very practicality because we want God to bless us when we don't have a plan. What does he say in Habakkuk? Write a vision down plainly so the runners can read it when they run by. Can people read the vision you have for your life? What is your vision? I mean, honestly, some people, I couldn't tell you. Say, I wonder what their vision is. I couldn't tell what a lot of people's vision is. They never talk about it. They never discuss it. It's supposed to be, if it's your life, hello, listen, let's talk for a minute. Lisa and Daniel, and I'll talk for these three people. Dance is a very part of their life. And when Jackson and them was in martial arts is a very part of your life. But well, I can't do this. I got to go to martial arts. I can't do this because I got to go to dance. I can't be at church because I got to dance. I can't. We know that dance is a part of your life. That's not bad. It is a decision that you made. We know the grandbaby is a part of Landy's life. She flies to Florida like once every 2 weeks. That grandbaby is important to her. It's part of her life. I'm not saying these in negative ways, but I'm saying I know that dance is important to Daniel and Bree because it's in the conversation every time I'm around them. And every time, Lisa, it's Brooklyn posing and in her dance. That's not a negative thing. But your vision should be more important than your extracurriculum activities. That is putting, I'm not saying you guys, you have to put your vision and your purpose above your fun and your activities. This is who I am. This is what I'm doing. This is all side notes. Don't identify me with this. This is extracurriculum activity. I am this and this only. After a while, you'll be talking to Daniel, and he'll be like, no, I'm going to be in Virginia this week running. I'm going to be in Florida running. That guy on the video said he's ran across America 5 times. Okay? He said he's ran across America 5 times. When you are really devoted to running, not saying you are, you may not ever do that. But when you're devoted to something, it takes on your identity of who you are. If someone told me that you were going on America's Got Talent, I'd be, what for? What for? I've never seen you sing. You're not up here sing. I'm just using this example. When people are surprised by you doing something, you need to check and say, why are you surprised? Because if it is your definite chief aim and something you're focusing on, everybody should know without question. Without question, this is what this individual is about. Let me give you another example. Dr. Z can't pray. He can't talk without bringing history into it. He's going to bring the president into it. He's going to bring somebody's going to come into it. The Constitution's going to come into it. Why? That tells you he is enthralled in the Constitution. He is going to segue Jesus into the Constitution. Why? That is his right now. That is his milk and honey. If no one can't say, oh, I know what this is about, I know what this is about, then you do not have a definite chief aim solidified in your life. And you will not have the success. Let's back up. I'm giving you a lot of life stories here. Josh had a 90-day definite chief aim, right? It's probably going to be accomplished in what, 30 to 45? 30 more days. He's under target. But what he has told me, he says, I am doing everything you're telling me to do. Now, see, some of you will say, some of you won't do anything I tell you. Like, I ain't doing nothing. Good, stay where you are. I don't care. This is no right and wrong. You get to decide. It works, doesn't it? It works. It works. See, people don't like the messenger and they erase the content. You're never going to always like the messenger. I promise you, people were offended with Jesus. And Jesus, you know what Jesus said? Are you leaving too? Are you leaving too? You offended? Are you leaving? And it said that it says many people left him that day and he was down to a handful. Son of God. And he said, are you leaving too? I'm okay. It's okay. It's okay. Proverbs 23:7. For as a woman, for as a man, for as a child, for as a teenager, for as one thinks within himself, so you is. This verse means that your thoughts determine your future. Your future is determined by this little joker right here as you think, not as you look, not as you act, not as you put all the fancy Versace and Gucci and Coach and color and all the makeup you get from Kohl's and all these places. You cannot, listen, that is trying to give a born personality. What you want is you need the personality already, and this just makes it a better personality. Doesn't make sense? Right here. This verse, as he thinks within him, so he is. Your thoughts determine your future, and your actions always follows your thoughts. How you act is how you think. How you act is how you think. I can know what people thinking by how they act. I can know how people thinking by their facial expressions. You can read that. I don't know if you ever read anything by Caroline Leaf. She's a good psychologist, but listen to what she said. According to Dr. Caroline Leaf, toxic thoughts such as stress, worry, negativity, victimhood, fear, anger, and unforgiveness actually cause damage to your brain. Now look at the person beside you and say, now I know why you got brain damage. Now we know. When you think negatively, when you think stressfully, when you think doubtfully, when you think fearfully, when you think in unforgiveness and grudges and not liking people, it actually damages your brain. That's a doctor. That's not me. Deuteronomy 30:19. I call heaven and earth to witness against you today. I place, remember in Joshua it says, I set before you. Look at this. I place and set. I set before you. Just using this as an example. He's saying, I'm setting before you blessing and curse. Now, with the kids, a lot of people, I put money in my hands, or in my hand, and I put it back there, and I'll say, pick one. I say, pick again. What does that mean, pick again? It means pick the other hand because I want you to win. He says, I'm presenting to you, look at the verse, I'm presenting and placing before you life and death, blessing and curse. He's telling you what to choose. He gave you the answer. He told you what hand. He told you what to pick. Choose life. Choose life, blessing and curse, so that you and your children will live, love God, your God, listening obediently to Him, firmly embracing Him. Oh yes, He is life Himself, a long life settled on the soil. God said in Joshua, every place you set your foot, soil. A long life settled on the soil that your God promised. Are y'all getting this? I am telling you what to do. Today is number 10. I am telling you, choose accurate thinking. Now you get to decide whether you do it or not. You get to decide that. That is the freedom of choice. That is the freedom, the right. Nobody's forcing anyone here. I'm not belittling anyone. I'm just telling you, choose this one. Choose this one. Same with worship. Choose to raise your hands. I don't want nobody telling me. I don't want nobody telling me. Good. Don't. I can tell you the scripture, it says raise your hands. Well, I don't think I have to raise my hands. You're just stupid. That's all. I don't mean it. When they tell you to choose, they tell you to enter His courts with thanksgiving and praise, and you say, I am not doing that. Tell me how you would say that. When you, okay, wait. You're exactly right. So let's identify blessing and curse. You've heard me in the years past identify this. When he says choose blessing or choose life, what is the definition of blessing and what is the definition of curse? When God says choose blessing, he is saying that blessing is the empowerment for you to succeed. When you choose the blessed life, when you choose the abundant life, when you choose the word life, you are choosing the embodiment or the empowerment of success. You're coming into covenant with God. He's given you the advantage to be successful and to succeed. Failure is the empowerment to fail. Toxic thoughts connect you to the curse. That's good, isn't it? Toxic thinking, negativity, doubt, unbelief, unforgiveness, anger, all this, it automatically connects you to failure. It connects you to the curse. That's the reason God says, think on these things. Why? It connects you to life. It connects you to success. You are responsible. I am responsible for my success or my failure by my choosing and by my selection. Come on, this is so good. When you guard your mind and your thoughts and you keep yourself in an attitude of praise, attitude of gratitude, attitude of peace, you get healing and victory and the blessing of God. It is a decision. Throw up, I don't think I gave you this, throw up 2 Timothy 1:7. Accurate thinking, and we'll do a couple of translations, 2 Timothy 1:7. I like to give you multiple words. Accurate thinking is a sound thinking. Is that scriptural? For God did not give you the spirit of fear, who gives you mighty power, love, and self-control. Let's do another. Do amplified. For God did not give you the spirit of timidity. God did not give you the spirit of cowardice. God did not give you cringing and fawning fear, but He has given us the spirit of power, love, and common, a well-balanced mind. How can you live a total well-being life if you don't have a total well-being mind? Balanced mind and discipline. Did you see a discipline? Self-discipline, self-control. Is that not number 7, I believe, or number 6? And now we got a sound mind, accurate thinking, accurate thought. Colossians 3:2. Throw that one up there. Set. Feast on all the treasures of the heavenly realm and fill your thoughts with heavenly realities and not with the distractions. Can you do a different translation? There it is. Set. That is on you. Set your mind and keep them set. Oh, set your mind and keep it set. Don't, the other verse, don't get pulled to and fro. I can't get pulled. Set your definite chief aim. And don't get distracted. Is that not in Joshua? Don't get to the left or to the right. You're responsible for fixing your thoughts. You're responsible for the subjects you're thinking about. You're responsible for the goals you're trying to accomplish. So the Bible is clear on its instructions to us that it is our responsibility to learn how to control our thoughts, how to identify our thoughts, how to replace our thoughts, how to delete our thoughts, how to install new thoughts on His way. So let me, two things here. We are commanded, when it comes to our mind, to do two things. What is it? Renew our minds. Not read the Bible, renew our minds according to the Spirit and the Word. That is your and my responsibility. You have to renew your mind. You have to read the Bible and then take your thoughts and say, does my thoughts match up with this? And you replace everyone that doesn't. Okay? Number two, you're responsible to take captive every thought. What is accurate thinking? When you say accurate thinking. Okay, let's just pause for a minute. There's no one in this room that does not have fruit of inaccurate thinking. Okay? Drug use, inaccurate thinking. Stealing, inaccurate thinking. Multiple marriages, inaccurate thinking. Debt, inaccurate thinking. Can't keep a job, inaccurate thinking. Moving from church to church, inaccurate thinking. Inaccurate thinking will sabotage you. See, accurate thought is the ability to identify and distinguish truth and relevancy. Put up Acts 17:11, please, the Passion Translation. Listen to this. See, these things that I am teaching, unless you and I as students study these things, you have to learn to process. Now look at this scripture here. This is the Bereans. They found that the Jews of Berea were of more noble character. Wasn't character, positive mental attitude, character. Remember? I'm connecting all these dots. They found that the Jews of Berea were of more noble, positive mental attitude. Same word for character. And much more open-minded than those of Thessalonica. They were, hungry to learn. You need to underline that one. Eagerly to receive the word. Every day they open their Bibles, they open their notebooks of Scripture to search and examine them. Notice this. This is so good. To verify that what PT taught was true. I can't put Paul there because you're not under Paul. For people that are in CRH or CR, they sit under a lot of people getting up and giving a testimony. But I'm going to tell you, a lot of the testimonies are not accurate. They sound good, they sound positive, but they're not accurate. And we take on people's, well, they said this and this worked, and this said this and this worked, and we do this and we. That doesn't mean it's accurate because you've had 30 days sobriety. Is a start. But just because someone stands in front of you doesn't mean they're accurate. I tell you right now, I encourage you. I'm not going to pay you, but I encourage you. You can take anything I say and research it and come back to me. And if you've got credible evidence that I'm wrong, tell me. I have no problem. And I say, I'll research it myself. Don't Google it and come talk to me. Don't TikTok it and come talk to me. Don't talk to your mama and your daddy. Because I'm telling you, much of what your mommy and daddy told you was incorrect. My mama loved God and my daddy was a believer. And they knew what they knew at that time. But their stuff was not accurate. I remember And Diane, help me with this. I remember in 1994, I had only been saved 4 years. And I remember at a job, and the TV was on, and Benny Hinn was on. And Benny Hinn was taking his coat off, and they were falling out. And people asked me, because they knew I was a believer and working toward ministry, they said, what do you think of that? I said, that's of the devil. And I believed it 100%. That was of the devil. That's because I had inaccurate thinking. And religion from the Baptist and the religion from the evangelicalist and from all the other non-denomination Bible-believing stuff, the fundamentalists and Bible thumpers and all this. That's what my thinking was. So I had inaccurate thinking, and I judged something because of inaccurate thinking. Listen to me. You will always disbelieve in the beginning what you do not understand. You will disbelieve what you have not experienced. You will disbelieve what you don't. When it challenges. Now listen to me. Now I'm not getting political here, but listen to what I'm saying. Don't take this as political. They say, right, you ought to go and watch some videos out there. They say that the black community, that 25% or more have moved to Trump. Now go and listen to what there's the ones that say that. They said, we have believed a lie. I didn't say that. I don't even know these people. We believe this, we believe this, we believe this. You traditionally, culturally, family, you will believe something and you will swear to God it's true, and you're willing to throw some fists because you believe this. We have a fear. I have put so much in believing this. To discredit me now is a waste of my life. My mom's 95. I would not get in the car and ride with her anywhere. I love you, but I'm not getting in the car with you. I don't care where she's going. I would not ride with her. Now, why? Why? Because she's not mentally capable of doing it. Why would you ride with Joe? I want to ask you. It is not political. Why would you ride in the biggest boat? That's just, listen. Just because you struck the iceberg and now you want to change captains, you still go sink. See, the Titanic hit the iceberg and then they want to change captains. I'm not trying to be political. You still go sink because the boat's been struck. And we want to move around. We do not want to change what we believe. And it is, the Bible says, your traditions, your cultural beliefs, your this is who we are, and this is what I am, and my mama was like this, and my granddaddy was like this, and we're not changing it. It's King James Version only. Your boat has hit an iceberg, and it will sink you. Inaccurate thinking is a work that you're going to work on every day of your life. I'm just saying this, and I don't even listen really to Andrew Womack. Very little. Why? Because I am supposed, now I trust him. He's one of the true men. I truly trust him. I'm just saying we like gathering information. But can I tell you, neither do I, but neither does Andrew Womack. Andrew Womack, if you ever follow him, he's King James Version. That doesn't make him bad. But he's limited. There is no holiness in the version. No version. I have never seen a bad version. I mean, if you go for yourself and look at the word changes and different things like that, you will find that, I mean, the word says this word can mean all these things, and you get to pick which it's all in the same, it's like a synonym. So I'm challenging you. You study and examine, but don't listen to me and say, I don't believe him. I don't like him. You don't realize, and I don't want to use a derogatory word, you just don't realize that is a closed-minded person. Look what it says, open-minded. I am not trying to defend what I'm believing. I am open-minded to improve what I believe. I want to expand what I believe. That's wrong. You're closed-minded. No. Let's think. Let's think for a minute. Y'all with me here? If you were to go build a boat, what would you build it out of? Wood. For years and decades and centuries, the only thing you would build a boat out was wood. Wood is one of the materials that float. They would never build a boat out of steel. Steel is the most durable, superior boat that exists in the world. You just haven't had the accurate thinking of how to build it to displace the water. But it will far surpass wood. But for centuries, it was wood only. Prior to 1903, birds are the only thing that can fly. If God wanted us to fly, He would have gave us wings. He would have gave us feathers. He would have gave us this. But in 1903, two brothers put together a flight plan. They invited people to come, and people laughed at them and would not show up, but they flew. Today, we have far succeeded birds in where we can go and how we can fly. What is that? Thinking. Communication. Communication was telegraph and wires. Do you know that I put a year down on here. In 1896, they had their first communication without wires. I know you think Bluetooth and your streaming is very, no. They were communicating without wires in 1896. Why? Prior to 1896 means 1,800 years, almost 2,000 years. Why didn't anybody have a telephone, a telegraph? Why didn't they have a light bulb? It was thinking. Accurate thinking is absolutely essential to your success. We spend more time on social media scrolling and regurgitating information. We don't examine, we don't research, we don't do anything. We just, hey, did you hear this? We're just constantly sharing information. This brain, your brain, I think most of our brains, I'm not going to say who or who not, but most of your brains should weigh 2.5 to 3 pounds. Okay? That's probably more than 2.5 to 3 pounds. Most of these brains, your brain sits up here 2.5 to 3 pounds. It has 100 billion neutrons. 100 billion. In this. Think of 100 billion lines in here. And those 100 billion neutrons are sending out communication and impulses to 500 trillion synapses. 500 trillion. I mean, there's a lot going on in this brain. And these things, 500 trillion, are traveling at 300 miles per hour. The brain is a fascinating thing to me. Listen to this. You ready for this? Now, Daniel can tell you. I didn't look this one up. We have about 4 sextillion. What's a sextillion?
Well, you have trillion, 1,000 times that is a quadrillion, 1,000 times that is a quintillion, 1,000 times that, I believe, is your sextillion. So it's a billion times a trillion?
A billion times a trillion. A billion times a trillion. Did you hear what Daniel said? If you want math, he's the math major. That's why I don't even try. Listen, we have about 4 sextillion thoughts in our head. Hello, y'all talking? Listen to me. He says, renew your mind and fix your thoughts because you got sextillion thoughts up there. Hello, y'all not? Am I over your head here, or you're not? You've got sextillion thoughts. You got 100. You got a billion times a trillion thoughts in your head, and if you don't renew your mind and take all these thoughts captive, you are going to end up in a shipwreck. Now listen to this. 75% of the sextillion thoughts are negative. 75%. If you want to know all this, you can go to Psychology Today. You can go to I think it's NRNL. All these that study the brain. I read a lot. I do read a lot on the brain. The brain is, your brain is, I don't care what you think, your brain is you. This is you, not your body. Your brain is you. It's your personality. It dictates everything about you. 75% of those thoughts are negative, and 95% of those 75% thoughts are repetitive. So when you have toxic, 75% of your sextillion thoughts are negative, and 95% of the sextillion thoughts are repetitive, you are constantly sabotaging your life. I'm not good enough. I'm going to fail. I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to get married. I can't do enough. I'm not good enough. I'm a failure. I'm procrastinating. It's just constantly repetitive over and over and over and over and over. Is that not fascinating? So if you were to cut, I don't know what 75% would be. I don't know if this. So we know this is 50%. And then if we were to take, let's take this off. Well, that part doesn't come apart. So this much of your thoughts are negative and repetitive, and this much, if you renew your mind and if you think positive mental attitude. Do you see what I'm saying? No wonder that 2/3 of your life is jacked up. 2/3 of your life is jacked up. See, most people define success as material money, material wealth. I want to be very clear with you. Success is not defined as money. but you will not have success and not have material gain. You can't have success without wealth, but wealth is not the pinnacle of our success. You want a successful marriage, you want a successful personality, you want a successful job, you want a success is total well-being. It's your whole life is successful, not just finances. There's people that just have money that's miserable. There's people that have money that their life is fragmented. There's people that have money that has a terrible personality and they. So I never think that I'm saying this is about money. It is about total well-being. If you can't think accurate, you will not be successful. As a man thinks, so you are. And we are to think the way God thinks about us. I'm not going to get too, it's 12 o'clock, so I'm not going to get too deep here, but I want to give you a couple of things. The thinking process is based on two types of reasoning. I'm not going to go there because that is a rabbit trail. That's called accurate thinking. Number one, induction. Both of these are induction and deduction. This is part of your reasoning process. And I know, well, I want to hear about Jesus. Jesus can't help you if you don't know how to induct and deduct. You got to know how to deduct people from your life. Induction is where you can take apart. You know, some people can think in pieces, but they can't see the big picture. Induction is being able to see the little pieces and making a big picture. It is reasoning from a part to a whole, from an individual. You know, I could think about this message as this is a message about me. But if I was to think with deduction, I'm thinking as a whole. Does that make sense? Or as induction, I'm thinking of a whole. Deduction is arriving at specific conclusions based on general logic assumptions. You have to have accurate thinking. You have to have both induction and deduction thinking. Now, if these words, I don't see what this is important. Well, I'm sure you didn't think that learning to write your name in school was important. And you didn't think that learning multiplication in school was important. And you didn't think learning past, present, and future tense was important. But it's part of good communication. So accurate thought or reasoning involves two fundamentals. Now, I know this is a little wordy, but I want you to get this. You must think accurately because you have to separate facts from information. That is not the news or politics or your pastor. We have a responsibility, but it says to examine. You have to be able, when you have to do essays and dissertations, it is training you how to read and gather information and put your sources of how did you come up with this information and put your cliff notes down at the bottom so people can go to your notes and say, you're accurate on this. And it's proving that you know how to read. Are you with me, Landy? You know how to read this information. And now the induction and deduction. And you're able to write a dissertation. Now, I've never written a dissertation, but my study and reading about it, sometimes it takes a year for people to write one. They're called proposition papers. I mean, this is wordy stuff that gets into this is why I believe what I believe. You understand what I'm saying to you, Josh? It is not enough to say, well, I just think. No one cares what you think. Well, I thought if I hit this button, we would go faster. Well, I felt like that's fine to do that when you're playing in a sandbox. Don't be hitting buttons you don't know what they are on the plane. You get paid for the more specialized knowledge you have, not for general knowledge. Everybody in this room, how many of you in this room knows how to clean a house? Okay? Everybody in this room knows how to clean it. We'd all clean it different. That's called general knowledge. Everybody in this room can get paid to clean a house. How many in here knows how to study the eddies that's in the water? Those little circles when you see them go around a pole, they're called eddies. How you determine how fast those eddies are moving. It's called fluid dynamics. How many of you? Listen to what I'm saying. Who has a television program on cooking? Anybody in this room? Everybody in this room can cook. Or you think you can cook. Or you think you're a good cook. But in order to be on TV and have your own show, you can't be general chef. You have to be a top-notch chef. You got to be a master chef. You have mastered the flavors. You have mastered the artist's work. You know what goes together. And now they pay you millions to have a TV show. It's not impossible for no one in this room to have a TV show on cooking. You've just not spent you know what we say? I don't want to cook. Well, guess what? You'll never have a TV show. It's good. You don't have to have one. Well, I don't want to learn that. I told Daniel started running and all that. It's nothing bad. I don't want to run. Now, I think, listen, this is good. I'm going into this now. Listen. The goal here is, listen to this. The goal here is that I need to get in shape and fit. You need to start running. That's your opinion. You can jump rope. I need to get the cardio up, right? I need to get the cardio up. You can jump rope. You can row. You can cycle. You can run. You can hike. You can walk at a fast pace. You can swim. There's 50 ways to get in health. But we think, well, you need to run. And then, you know what I say? I don't want to run. So I'm not doing it. No. You don't get to get out of not elevating your cardio. You got to pick something. And you know what? And I'm not going to get into it, but I'm going to tell you. The Lord told me, listen, and I hadn't told Diane this. Diane and I, she's always scared of this. It's not bad. Diane, man, she looks good. She looks amazing. You look amazing. I was looking in the store. We went in the store yesterday. We didn't order our groceries. We went in the store and bought our groceries. We walk around looking at people and talking. Now listen, we walked in and she looked good. I was like, that girl looked good right there. Now listen. I watch her eat and I'm like, and I told her, we've had some conversations. She's fine. She gets up and she breaks up a styrofoam cooler. And she puts peanut butter on styrofoam. She loves rice cakes. Styrofoam. She's learned how to dog. She'll put tuna on styrofoam. She'll put peanut butter on styrofoam. She takes styrofoam and she likes styrofoam. And I'm looking at her and I'm saying, I don't want to eat that way. I know you look good. I don't want to eat that way. And listen, I'm going to tell you what. Casey was here and the Lord spoke to me. And he spoke to me about, not negatively, but about her. He said, listen. He said, let's go back to David and Saul. I never asked you to wear her armor. See, Saul wore armor to fight a battle. She eats styrofoam to stay in health. David put on the outfit and he said, this don't fit. Rice cakes don't fit. Running don't fit. God says, I never asked you to run, and I never asked you to eat styrofoam and boiled eggs. He said, there are other ways. My mother is a vegan. My mother was a vegetarian. My mother ate oatmeal and beans, and she's 95 on no meds. Don't think that people have to do it exactly your way. As long as you get the end result is to get in health. I'm definitely not going to jump rope. Now, I can crisscross it. I know how to do all that. I walk, but I'm 55. I don't want to. I don't want to. So I have got to put on the armor, come into accurate thinking and put on the armor that will get me the results I need. If you don't get the results, then you are rebelling and choosing inaccurate thinking. But whether it's rowing or whether it is cycling or whether it is hiking or whether it is swimming or whether it is burpees, whatever elevates my cardio to cause me to burn and lose, that is my armor I get to pick up and put on. We get the same results. Y'all with me? That's good, isn't it? So with this, what I'm teaching, you can say, that's not for me. Well, you got to pick something. Choose this day. You get to pick. You don't get to say, well, I'm going to do my own thing. That's not picking. See, you must think accurately in separating facts from information. There is a lot of information coming at us, but a lot of it is opinion and hearsay. And your accurate thinking will distinguish what is opinion and what is that's. David said, I can't wear this. This isn't my armor. See, you're trying to wear someone else's armor, and I'm telling you, it doesn't fit. You don't have to wear my armor. See, you have to separate the facts from important and unimportant because most of us spend a lot of time on unimportant things and irrelevant things versus relevant things. Now listen, this is so good. I'm going to read this because I wrote this and it's too much for me to remember. Much of the time, what separates people and sabotages people. Y'all got that? What separates people and sabotages people. Okay? I'm going to use Alana here. What separates people and sabotages people. We think, in our natural mind, it's our education. No. We think it's skin color. No. We think it's the divorce in our life. No. We think that it is addictions in our life. Nope. 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 We have equal opportunity in America with God. God says there is no respecter of persons. We have equal opportunity and we have equal ability. You can walk, I can walk, we can raise our hands. We're not talking about my IQ 35 and yours 160. We're talking in general here. Everyone in this room had an opportunity. Listen to me. Everyone in this room had an opportunity to go to school. You had an opportunity to graduate. You had the opportunity to go to technical school. You had an opportunity to go to college. You had an opportunity to go to undergraduate. You had an opportunity to get... Everyone in here, you have an opportunity. Your credit score is your choosing. We have equal ability and we have equality, but if I think one way and she thinks another way, as we think determines our future, not our skin color, not our social economic. My mom and dad, I'm not even going to say the word. My flesh was right there to say a word. Thank you for accurate thinking. My mom and dad was as poor as anybody I know. Were they not, Diane? My mom and dad, or my dad, had no 40, no, he wouldn't know what a 401k was. My dad had just Social Security. My mom had just Social Security. They were high school graduates. They they had they had nothing. You have more than my mom and dad had. Wherever you are right now, they did the best they could under those circumstances. And where I am, in the entire Hutto family, the Hutto clan, the Hutto tribe, the entire Hutto family, I have been able, with working God's plan, to be able to succeed more than any Hutto in my family, brothers and sisters, my dad's brothers and sisters. Hallelujah. Listen, it's thinking. It's thinking. Had nothing to do with my mom and dad. It had nothing to do with my schooling. It had all those things can help you, but that does not determine your success in life. We've read a dozen scriptures. Deal with your thoughts, set your thoughts, practice everything I'm telling you. Practice these. You know, I practice these. I'm constantly going over these things. I've been doing this for 4, 5, 6 years. This isn't something I'm over and over and over and practicing it till it gets me into alignment. I'm getting a PR. What affects people from achieving high levels of success is their inability to accurately think. No one can make you think. We neglect to analyze, verify, and research. We take everything everybody says. Casey and I are talking, and I say, how'd you come up with that? Well, I heard. I asked, do I not? How did you come up with that? Well, I heard this. Well, who'd you hear it from? I'm trying to find out where this information's coming. It sounds pretty good, but I don't want misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation coming into my mind. I'm a gardener. I don't want weeds in my garden. I want to select what is being planted. And I will ask him how, and now he says, well, I'm not sure. That's how he approaches thoughts with me. He says, I'm not sure if this is accurate or not, because he knows I want to know. And then I'm telling you, there's a lot of times people will say something and I will go research it to find out if you are credible or you just spinning information to me. My wife would tell me things about politics and all that, and I have to go and research it. Some of it's accurate, some of it is not. I'm not saying it's questionable. I don't know if there's enough evidence for me to state that I believe that yet. And people call and say, what are your thoughts? No, what are your thoughts? You can't take my thoughts and make that your accurate thinking. Once you know what you believe, you become passionate. It becomes a part of you. You develop self-confidence in this. See, so many people, they hear information, share information, and act on information. It has no analysis, no verification. It has become part of their thinking process, and it's false, it's biased, it's not true, it does not make sense. When the shooting happened yesterday, do you know how much misinformation's out there? I mean, there's all kinds of crazy stuff out there now. People say, did you know? And I'm like, no, I don't want to hear it. I have certain sources that I pull from. I have certain things that have proven to be truthful and proven to be verifiable. And you know, I don't believe. Listen, I don't go to anybody in this room and ask them about medicine. If I need a medical issue, I'm going to Zach. You'll ask your best friend, what do you think? You think I should marry this person? What do you think? You think, who are you asking? Who are you asking? Well, you think I should do this? You ask people questions. You think I should buy this? You think we should do this? You asking dumb people. I don't mean that bad. I'm talking, let's use ignorant. You're asking ignorant people who have no track record behind them of making any decisions that gives them the influence to tell you or suggest to you what to do. Why do you even go to people that's unqualified and you willing, well, I asked 2 or 3 of my best friends. Okay, last thing. Law of evidence. Is that in your paperwork? Yes. Law of evidence. Do you know what the law of evidence is? The law of evidence is a legal term that's in the court system. It's in the legal system. And the law of evidence is the rules which determine what evidence is admissible at trial. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody wants to submit something at a trial. There is a law of evidence. It's a legal term that your desire to submit something must meet the criteria of the law of evidence to see if it's admissible. Let me give you what that is. For something to be admissible in a trial, it must be proven to be authentic. It must be proven to be complete. It must be proven to be reliable. It must be proven to be believable. And then the judge, who is an expert and mastery in law, determines if your exhibit that you want to submit qualifies to come into court if it's admissible. You got all that? So I want to ask you, is there a law of evidence in your brain that will take the information that you're hearing and it says, is this authentic? Is this complete? Is this reliable? Is this believable? What does the Word say about this before you embrace it in your life to begin to act on it? How much of the sextillion thoughts in your mind does not pass the law of evidence, and you are thinking and acting and making decisions and choices that are toxic and put you in? If I had been married one time and got a divorce, I would have a legal team around me from there on out. Let me tell you why. 1, it's expensive. 2, it's heartbreaking. 3, it's damaging. 4, it destroys. I cannot make this decision again because I do not have the credibility or the mindset to make this choice on my own. So I surround. Business. The Bible says there is safety in a multitude. If I'm going into business, I have business people around me. If I'm going to, whatever it's going to do, I have attorneys around me. Whatever I'm going to do, I was in a situation this week, and one of my customers, he's been a physician, family practice for 30 years. We talked. I'm in a decision-making process medically, and I am pulling from the medical field to give me accurate information for me to make a decision. I am not Googling. I am not at the Mayo Clinic. I am not at WebMD trying to come up with a decision that deals. This is my life. Why am I going to let my life be full of hearsay and opinions and inaccurate content coming from other people. Why do you do that? Pause for a minute and ask, why do I do that? How much of my life that I'm operating on that is skewed? It is misinformation. If you're going to be successful, you're going to have to develop the skill set to distinguish between important, unimportant, relevant, irrelevant, induction, deduction. It's a skill. And we have failed to develop the skill. Mama, what do you think I should do? Daddy, what do you think I should do? You should know what you should do. I don't mind being a sounding board. Have you thought about this? But I'm not here to make your decision. This teaching here, I'm not here. You don't have to follow anything. I'm putting before you today the laws and the secrets of success. You can choose them or not. It's that simple. God put before you worship or not. He doesn't make you worship. But he tells you if you worship, your praise will go before you and destroy the enemy. So if your enemy's not being destroyed, it's probably maybe because you don't know how to praise yet. He's telling us everything, I've given you everything to be successful. And when you practice what I've given you, you will naturally be successful. Stand with me.